Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me tonight for another acrylic painting tutorial. I've got my husband, Mark, with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man in chat tonight, so if you've got questions while I'm painting, you can ask those. We're going to be painting a bumblebee with a sunflower, so I think it'll be a lot of fun. Let's get started. I'm going to be using a 9 by 12 inch canvas today. This is a Fredrix mixed media canvas board. I haven't done anything to it. It's just all ready to go, pre-primed and everything. I'm going to need some chalk to draw our sunflower on to start with, and then or just some sort of a watercolor pencil or chalk pastel, some sort of a water-soluble pencil so that our lines won't show through our paint after we paint over them. I'm going to want either kind of an angle brush or a Filbert. I'm probably going to use my Filberts for most of the petals. So I've got a 6 and an 8 Filbert and then a 6 angle bright. This is a fairly large canvas for the sunflower, and it's going to take up this whole space. So you'll need a little bit larger brush to do these long brush strokes. And then for the center, I'll probably do some stippling. So I've got a 3/8 inch Deerfoot Stippler and the blenders, so 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch blenders. And then I also grabbed my regular smaller angle brush. This is the 3/8 inch, and then a couple of round brushes for the details in our bee. So these are the number 2/0 and 2. Let me go over my colors. Got carbon brown, carbon black, burnt umber, burnt sienna, quinacridone burnt orange, Indian yellow hue, cadmium yellow medium and light. Just grab whatever yellows you've got in the most variety possible. So kind of a more orangey yellows, and then the more cooler, brighter yellows. So whatever you have in your arsenal, grab those. Got some Phthalo Turquois, ultramarine blue, Quinacridone magenta, and cadmium orange, and then some titanium white, and a little bit of gloss glazing liquid, just in case we want to do any glazing. So those should be good. Let me go ahead and draw really quick here. To start us off, how are you doing, hun?
I'm doing good, even though you threw me for a loop there.
I know. I tried to add one little different detail into the intro, and then I threw myself off. So, and then we all get out of whack.
I'm on allergy medications and limited sleep. Don't be doing that to me, please.
We had a rough night. We had thunderstorms, and that always means that Fitzpickle wants to sleep in the bed with us, and if he doesn't, he cries the whole time. So we and then when he's in the bed, we don't sleep either. So really, he's probably, I don't know. I just feel bad. So about halfway here and about halfway here. We're just going to cut off that corner with the center of our sunflower, and then do kind of another little line here. We got these little things that are going to be sticking out here that are a little bit different from the ones in the center. Our bee's going to be somewhere in here. And then our sunflower petals are going to come out from the center. If you take, like say this is the center line, you just do some straight lines out this way. It'll kind of get you an idea of where these petals should go in the direction that they should be heading. And then you can kind of round them out. These are all filling in here though, and kind of overlapping each other. So just kind of like that. There's only just a little bit of the background kind of peeking through here and there. Nice long petals here. I am so excited. We got our garden going, and we're going to have sunflowers again. And this year I know how to plant them. Last year I didn't realize that they all bloom at the same time, and then they're all done like within 2 weeks. So we had a spectacular sunflowers that lasted 2 weeks, and then they were gone, or maybe a month. I don't know, but it seemed like it was real short. So this month we're going to stagger plant our sunflowers, and we had all kinds of fun colors. I think they're in our Instagram feed still if you want to check them out from last year, but I'm really looking forward to getting some sunflowers. One of my favorite flowers to grow in the garden. All right. So I'm going to start with the largest brush here. This is the Filbert, and we're just going to kind of fill in our background and the kind of base of our petals. There's a lot of green in our petals, even though it doesn't look like it. the shadow areas of our petals have kind of a green, and then the center area here has almost a purple undertone. That's why I kind of went ahead at the very last minute and added my magenta and ultramarine blue. So I'm going to use the burnt orange and magenta and ultramarine blue to make a dark burgundy, and then I'm going to add some brown to it. I'm going to use that as my center of my sunflower here. I hope you guys are doing well. Sunflowers are also the national flower of the Ukraine, and I did not know that until all this mess started happening with them. So this is kind of dedicated in some way to them. It's pretty heartbreaking what's happening over there right now.
Yep.
Cannot imagine. All right, I am going to add a little bit more dark black. I just felt like it wasn't quite dark enough there. Need it dark so that this color is going to peek through when we put our brighter yellow on top. Okay, and then this area is a little bit more orange, so I'm going to get some burnt sienna and some Indian yellow hue and put that right in here. It's not as dark in value. A little bit lighter color. There we go. I'm not going to worry about my bee at all until the very end. I'm just going to put him on top of my sunflowers. The yellow will be light enough that it won't be hard to cover it up. So, all right, so something like in that. Don't worry too much about how it looks at first. Don't stress over this part. It's just going to be our background. Most of this is going to be covered up. So do it quickly. And all right, cleaning this out. Let's go ahead and do some of the in-between petals here. I think I'm going to put one right here, actually, that kind of cuts off this whole area right here a little bit more. So I'm going to use the Indian yellow hue and a little bit of my turquoise. And maybe a little bit of burnt sienna. So just kind of a neutral kind of, see how that's like a pea green kind of color. I think I'm going to use that to sort of mark out my petals, and I'm going to add a little bit of white to it. It's not that dark. The tricky part about working with yellow is that even the shadows are not that dark. Like the value of yellow is so light to begin with, you can't go much lighter with it. So with colors that kind of start out in this range, like with a color like, I don't know, blue or red or like a mid-tone color, you could, it's going to be in here. So you can go darker and you can go way lighter. But with a color like yellow that starts out like in here, you cannot go much lighter, and your values are really only going to be like into here in your darker areas usually. I mean, sometimes you might have a really, really dark shadow that will have like something underneath it that will make it a little bit darker. But for the most part, if the sun's shining through it or sun is shining on it, even your darkest values are going to really be fairly pale. So it's a little trickier to get a good value range of depth. Like, without that contrast, you don't have a lot of depth. So sometimes yellow can look a little flat if you don't make sure that you get some depth in there, some darker colors in there. So sometimes what I'll do is just go a little bit darker than even in the photograph, just because it kind of needs it, So I'm just going through here, and I'm going to put these kind of very light streaks through, and I'm going to leave most of this showing, I think. But I want this middle area right here to be pretty solid. So I'm going to kind of start up fairly solid with this green down low here up against this, and I'm not even worried about if it's overlapping here. These two colors are going to overlap. In fact, I might use a little bit of this in here and kind of feather out that edge a little bit so it's not so solid line, because it's really not a line necessarily in our photo. It's just, there we go. So spread that out, and then kind of using the angle of the petals to to kind of draw in our shapes here. So right there and right in there somewhere. Okay, so we've got a good start. Let's go ahead and paint in our background. I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of blue for the background and some of my turquoise and some white. And I might add just a little bit of that green that we just mixed so that it's got like a little tone of like a slightly green, turquoisey blue. Yeah, that's pretty. Okay, so I'm just going to paint that in kind of in between my petals. Back in here. And most of this will get covered up, but I'm not even worried if it goes on top of my petals a little bit. It's okay. Okay, there we go. In fact, I'm going to probably put it, like a little bit of it in the petals there. Maybe have a little bit of it down here. Okay. Not looking like much. It's okay. I think people get kind of freaked out when they get to this point in their painting, especially if you're new to painting. Kind of get to the ugly stage and you're like, I'm doing something wrong, but this is all part of the process. It just kind of has to look worse before it looks better. You got to get in those layers, those under layers of the darker colors before you can start putting on the lighter shades that will actually make it look good.
Yeah, but that takes longer.
What?
That takes longer. That's like saying you should read the book rather than watch the movie.
True. Very true. Good analogy. Mm-hmm. You gotta, this is the reading the book stage right here. Book's always better. All right, so mixing up these two colors, these are my more golden of the yellows. So it's got Indian Yellow Hue and Cadmium Yellow Medium, which is more golden. You could also use Cadmium Yellow Deep, or like a Quinacridone Nickel Azo Gold, or some color like that, you know, just like a golden yellow. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to start to kind of more define my petals a little bit better. And you can see yellow is very transparent, especially the cadmium yellow is a little bit more opaque than most yellows, but the Indian yellow is very transparent. So this is going to show through our underlayers even as we go over them. Which is totally fine because we're going to add white to our last few layers. That's what's going to really stand out. You have to add white in order for the yellow to be opaque enough to cover over these darker colors. Okay. Make that a little bit wider. There's two petals here. One here and one here. Looking good. And these are looking a little bit narrow still, so I'm still going to widen these out a little bit. Don't you worry. I know you're worried, Mark.
I was all getting antsy over here.
I know.
Could barely sit still. What am I worried about?
Reminds me of the show we were watching the other night. The wife's trying to make a point. And she's talking about, then the husband says the exact opposite. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I wasn't listening. Yeah. This is what, I can't remember the name of the show, but yeah.
It's the Modern Family.
Modern Family that, you know, has been done for years now. We're only just getting to it.
Best way to watch it, because you can watch all the episodes.
It is. It's better. Yeah, just wait till the series is ended and then binge it. Yeah. It's the best.
This is the greatest time in history.
Oh my gosh, you're not kidding. You're not kidding. You have anybody else telling you what to watch. You can
exactly
pick for yourself. It's amazing.
You can see how many series I've watched. You've been watched just by my waist size. I might have to hook up the TV to the treadmill to power it.
Well, we do have it in there in the bedroom. We just
Can't get it out of the bedroom.
we've got the laundry on top of it now. All right, so I'm going to add some white now to my cadmium yellow light and start to define the edges of my petals a little bit better. So I'm going to start up here and just kind of, now this is going to be going on a little bit more lightly. So I'm just going to kind of, there we go. And you can see in the picture there, the petals have these kind of pleats in them. So I'm going to try to make sure I don't lose that when I'm doing this. I want to leave those pleats in the petals, the folds and things that are happening. Nice, see? It's all about the layering. And I'm kind of stopping right in here somewhere. I'm not really worried too much about where it's touching because we're going to be adding these little center parts of the flower over the top of these petals. So it'll kind of clean up this area a little bit. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Get some brighter yellow and add that. Once we get this layer on, then we can go back in if we want to and add these brighter cadmium yellow streaks in. And if it goes over the top of that white, it'll stand out a little bit better than it did against the greens that we had. And I'm using the edge of my brush, so I'm loading it fairly thick with paint. Get a little bit of water every now and then when you reload. It'll kind of help the paint move off the brush, but if you kind of press down, you get a good straight edge here, and then I can just use that bladed edge to draw these lines in my petals, and then I can press down a little harder where I want it a little bit thicker. Not bad. This petal looks a little bit off. I'm gonna kind of widen it out right here. Feels like it's kind of not quite making sense there, so. Dog, you didn't sleep well last night either. It's like, grumpy old man. He's only 2. He's not old. He just sounds like one.
Where did he get that from?
I don't know where he is.
Surely I don't make any noises when I get up off the couch or anything.
Mm-mm. It's me in the morning. And our photograph has some kind of weird shadows happening through, but I'm not going to really worry about those. I'm just going to kind of focus on the shape of the petals here. I'm going to get a little bit of this kind of more golden color that we use down here and use that in a couple of places. Actually, I might get the cadmium orange and use that with the cadmium yellow. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, that's pretty. I'll just use that in a couple of places. Give it a really nice orangey glow. Some of the flowers, the sunflowers that we grew last year were red, and they come in all kinds of different colors. I didn't even know that until like literally 5 years ago, probably, when we got a arrangement at Thanksgiving that had red sunflowers in it, and it was like blew my mind. And then we grew a bunch of them last year. We had some that were even pink. They were really, really pretty. So definitely this summer we'll be painting some more sunflowers. They're really fun to paint too, because I feel like they're really accessible flower to paint. They're not super difficult. They're, they're pretty, what you see is what you get. That makes it pretty easy to paint them because they have this really straightforward, long sweeping petals, you know, that overlap just a little bit. But the overlapping is what, you know, gets tricky when you're painting flowers sometimes. And this overlapping is not so bad that it's just really easy to do, I think. Definitely a good beginner painting. It's very similar to the Gerbera Daisy that I did, one of my very first paintings on YouTube. Actually my first tutorial that I ever did on YouTube way back in 8 years ago, I guess. I was looking at it. I've been on YouTube for 10 years, but I only have been doing tutorials for 8 years, so it's kind of interesting. Okay, a little bit of white streaks there, here and there. And the main thing is I just want to make sure that I'm getting some depth. So if I'm like covering up too much of my petals here, I can take some green and just go back in so that I see that petal's on top, you know. That makes sense. Just give it a little bit more overlapping. There we go. I'm putting some of the green back in now. And this one down here is not quite as light. It's not getting as much light down here, so make it a little bit more of the more middle tone colors, yellows. There's a little bit of the lighter color right there. Very tip of it. Okay. And then at some point you'll notice I'm kind of getting to that point here where it's feeling a little bit like the paint's not like wanting to come off my brush. It's just kind of dragging, it's sticking a little bit, getting kind of sticky. And that just means that those underlayers need to dry. So I need to stop painting, just let it dry completely. I work on different areas and come back to it. So I'm going to get some of that blue from the sky, get a little bit more white here, and just kind of do another layer on that. Maybe clean up some of my edges if I need to. I'm going to lighten it up just a little bit. There we go. Okay, nice. So let's go ahead and grab, I think I'm going to go ahead and maybe use this brush. This is the 1/4 inch angle. I'm sorry, 1/4 inch blender. And we'll use the same green that we used before in here. This will kind of make sure that it's cohesive. And I'm just going to add some of this burnt sienna color that's this color here. And I'm going to use my brush and start to place in these little shapes in here. And these kind of curve over and back down. And I want enough paint on here that it's gonna go on pretty thick. So don't skimp with the paint on this. There we go. And getting both of these colors, I'm not like over mixing it, so when I'm tapping down you can see both of the colors on here. I'm getting kind of a little bit of the burgundy color and a little bit of the green. A little bit more of that green, a little bit of yellow. As we come out here, it's getting a little bit more orangey, maybe a little bit more of the Indian yellow hue. What's this green? And kind of gonna hit in between. That's a little bit green. Cadmium yellow. There we go. I'm going to grab a little bit of this burnt orange too. There we go. Nice. I'm trying to keep these all sort of in the same shape if possible.
So we have some sunflower facts.
Okay. Do it.
So the sunflower is actually thousands of teeny flowers.
I think I knew that.
Yeah, I think we went over that
Yeah,
one of
we
your
talked
other
about
ones.
that. Mm-hmm.
You should harvest sunflowers in the morning.
Okay, I don't like this pattern happening. What? Go ahead.
Harvest sunflowers in the morning and not in the afternoon.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
If you're cutting them for cut flowers? Or?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because they're
Interesting.
less likely to wilt, apparently.
Okay.
They were domesticated around 1000 BC. I don't know, they were free range wild at one time, I guess, but okay. Each one contains up to 1,000 or 2,000 seeds.
Wow.
70 species of sunflower.
70.
Yeah.
Well, we did about 12 of them, I think. Not kidding. I think we had about that many. I don't remember, but we had a lot.
Sunflowers have been planted to help soak up nuclear radiation.
Really? Interesting.
And it's one of the few foods that doesn't taste like chicken.
Okay. Did you make that up?
I'm not going to tell. I will say I made up one of those facts. You'll have to figure out which one it was.
I am going to break up this pattern because I'm not really liking what it's doing. So I'm just going to go in here and break this up. There we go. A little bit better, just kind of not so matchy-matchy. I don't really like how that was looking. You could leave it if you liked it, but I just think I prefer it looking a little bit more random. Okay, there we go. That's better. And you can use the darker too to kind of help. Smudge out some of those obvious patterns. There we go. I'm liking that a little bit better. All right, then let's go in here, and I'm going to get the Quinacridone burnt orange and some of the Indian yellow and some regular orange, and I'm going to do these little spiky things. It's just a little bit darker than what I've got going on there already. And then let's get the cadmium yellow light and add that to it. And we'll add some little spikes coming out. Trying to keep this random. Okay, looking good. Clean that out, and then I'm going to get my 3/8" angle brush and get this dark color that's the center of these. And I'm going to turn this so I can get kind of a line here, and I'm going to draw lines kind of coming out and do them fairly quickly so that I'm getting them random here. Fairly thin. There we go. Some of these down here kind of turning this way. There we go. All right. And we could leave it like that if you liked it. You don't have to do much more than that if you don't want to. But I think I'm going to keep on going here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and kind of just throw in some a little bit more shadows here and there in this area. Okay. And then the tops of all of these little black things have this little bit of yellow. So I'm going to just get a little bit of the yellow and just tap those off. And if it's not showing up, just add a little white to it so that it shows up. But okay. Nice. And I think I want to go just a little bit darker in some of my shadows in this. So I'm going to get some of my burnt orange and some of my cadmium yellow light, or cadmium yellow medium, I mean, burnt orange. So it's just a little bit darker than what we've got, and I'm just going to add some of this color kind of in the center, mid to low center of these flowers coming out, just to give it a little bit more depth. Okay. And then I'm going to get the bright cadmium yellow light on its own. I've already got these lighter colors down, so this should now cover, hopefully, some of this. Yeah. There we go. All right, now so there's our sunflower, and you, like I said, you could leave it like that, or we can add our bumblebee on it. So I think I'll use this brush to put him in. So he's just going to be kind of a little semicircle here almost. That's kind of the shape we're going for, with a little lump on the top where his back is. Let me get my chalk here. Draw it out with my chalk. So he's going to live right in here. And his head and the back. Legs come out here and here. And then the big old rump. Super cute. And then the wings come out from this part here. I'm going to do a second wing over here. So there's our bee. I made him a little bit bigger just because I want him to be a little prominent. I'm going to get my Quinacridone, my ultramarine blue, black, and burnt umber. I'm going to use that black, really dark color to put him in. And I'm going to go ahead and change it up a little bit. I like the bees, the bumblebees that have a little bit of a white on the rump. So I'm going to get that white color and get that in. So get the little fuzzy white bum on him. And then it'll have a yellow stripe right in here. And I'm using the black with the yellow just because I want it to kind of merge right here. And then it's a little bit of yellow on the top here. And then the rest of this is going to be black. So it's a little bit different from our bee. The ones that have the white on the bum have black here where the wings attach instead of the all yellow like in our picture. So they have yellow here and yellow here. And then the black the rest of the place. Cute. And this section should be fairly close to the same size as far as like the head and the this first section.
Shoulders.
Head and shoulders.
Knees and toes.
And the bum area should be about the same size. So if you measured those two.
I don't think it's shoulders.
Head, shoulders, knees and toes.
Maybe thorax.
Thorax, yeah.
Okay, Googling bee parts. Be right back.
Cute.
Ooh.
And then he's got this little pointy face here. Comes down. And then little arms.
Yep, thorax. I was right.
So.
I learned something in school.
And then the legs that come back here.
And the back part is abdomen.
Abdomen.
Not
okay,
bum.
So it's abdomen. Well, I like to call it his bee bum.
Bee bum?
I'm part of a Reddit board called Bee Butts. It's just bees and flowers. It's the best. All right, so I'm going to get my little bit smaller one here and get some of the brighter yellow, cadmium yellow medium. Now that this is on here, and go ahead and dab that on. Still kind of mixing with that black a little bit. That's okay. And then this leg here coming out, it's got the yellow on it. The wings, I'm going to go ahead and use this color here for the wings. They kind of have that brownish tone to them. I'm going to start in here, bring them out, kind of mid body here and curving them out. And you could use your angle brush if you want it to be a little cleaner. I'm going to go ahead and give the second one a little spot too. A little bit shorter than this one. A little farther away, and we're not seeing where it's attached because it's behind the body there. Cute. Okay, I'm going to take my water. Clean up my sketches here. There we go. All right, I'm going to get a little bit of black here and clean up that face a little bit. And then let's give it a little highlight. So I'm just going to get some white and mixed it with that grayish color that we had going on for the eye. I'm just going to kind of come across like that with it. I see a little bit of burnt sienna in here too, so I'm going to add a little bit of burnt sienna, kind of round out that eye shape. I need to zoom in on one of these bees so I can see the face a little bit better. Got all these pictures up here, but I don't have a very good zoomed in picture. This one's got his face stuffed in the flower. I can't see his face at all. That's a good one. Let me. Okay, there we go. Sorry, you're not seeing this, but it's on my computer. Just having to get a little. So I'm going to get a little bit of blue. Round that out a little bit right there. Okay. And let's go ahead and use some of this in the wings too. Just a little bit of it. Get some of the black. Do some fuzzing in the black. There's these little antennae. And I'm being a little bit sloppy with this. I probably could be a little cleaner, but I don't know, my sunflower's a little bit kind of impressionist, so I'm not wanting to get too clean with my bee, just so that it's also got that little kind of painterly style. So that's why I'm kind of going a little bit sloppier with my brush strokes than I might normally, but you can kind of clean yours up if you want to. I'm going to give it a little fuzz here, just tapping around. And, you know, it's one of those things where I'm not happy with it, so I'm just going to keep messing with it until I am. You know, you just got to work it out. It's not a science. Painting is just kind of figuring it out as you go. So, you know, I'm not really happy with this, so I'm going to just keep adding color until I am happy with it. It'll get there. Just going to have to keep working at it. Adding a little bit of the more orangey color here, and at some point too, like, you know, I'm getting a lot of paint on here. I kind of went fairly thick with my first application of paint, so I just have to kind of let those layers dry like I did with my yellow, you know. So if you're getting your paint on there and you feel like it's just not quite coming off right, then you just have to like let it dry. It just may need to dry. Get some white here. I have a little bit of my yellow on here, but I don't mind that. And they're little, got like a little bit of a darker line here if it happens between my white area. There we go. Cute. I have no idea what kind of bee this is, but what?
There's two cutes.
Two cutes. Well, he deserves a lot more than two. I'm gonna get some burnt umber, a little bit of burnt sienna with my black hair. There's a lot of browns in the bee, in the black part of the bee here. I'm just kind of setting my brush down and kind of pulling out so that I'm getting kind of a fuzzy, rough edge to these brush strokes now. Now that I've got my color on here, I want to start to create that texture of the fuzziness of the bee. Now it's starting to take shape. Starting to like what I'm seeing here. I like it. I'm gonna get a little bit of white and just do a little bit of highlight over the part where the wings are attaching there. And then go back to my angle brush here, get my black. And this wing has like a knuckle sort of where it's attached to the body, and then the dark edge there. And I'm just going to put some light, very light veins in the wing. And this part here is going to have a little highlight on it there. And the wings will have some highlights too. Get some white. Maybe get a little bit of that blue from our sky, if we've got any. I'm just going to kind of lightly brush over what we've got on our wings so it kind of obscures our lines a little bit, softens them up slightly. There we go. That looks good. Get a little bit of the burnt sienna color and add a little bit of that. I like it. All right.
I'm going to go.
Now, the wings are kind of translucent, so I can add a little bit of yellow to them also. What?
Said I'm going to go and get a shot of Cashmere.
Okay.
She's sitting on the counter by the window, by the thing, by the flowers.
Oh, by the flowers. Oh, okay. You can do some live video of her?
Yeah.
Okay. Then here is our pollen sac. Oh, look at the kitty. She's sitting on our dish drain. Right in the sun. Oh, cute. Need to get her one of those little cat hammocks that sit in the sun. My son has one for his cats, and they love it. She found the flowers. She always thinks any of the flowers that are in the house are for her. So, cute.
Did I get her face?
Yeah, yeah, you got it. It's cute. She is very sweet in the sun. I was saying that we need to get her a little cat hammock like Nathan has.
Oh, yeah.
She'd love that.
They had tents and sleeping bags
For cats.
for animals, dogs and stuff at the pet store yesterday.
Nice.
I was like, wow.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Well, you go camping with them, you know. They gotta have their own little tents, though. That's cute.
Yeah. The dog would actually stay in it.
Oh, he would love it. It's his favorite thing to be outside. All right, so now we've got all those dark underlayers, and now we can put these kind of like lighter highlights on here and really kind of bring up those parts of the bee. I'm gonna round out the little part of the leg there. Starting to get there. Pretty happy with how this is looking. I'm gonna get some white. Just put a little light highlight on some parts of the wings there. I'm going to do another little run at the bee booty with my white. Just a little bit of highlight on there. Cute. And I'm going to highlight at the top of this too. And then I'm going to come back in with my yellow and go back over that because I feel like it just needs a little bit brighter right in there. I might do a little bit right there on the knee, leg coming down. And these legs are going down into the flowers, so I'm not really worried too much about what they look like, but I am going to kind of define them a little bit better. So I'm just going to get my angle brush here and just kind of make sure that those legs kind of have sort of a place they're going down into at least, and kind of fluff out the bottom of the body here. So okay, I think we're almost there.
Looking good.
I think so. Pretty happy with it.
And that painting is doing well too.
I fell for it.
Yes, you did.
I fell hard for it that time. Okay. Yeah, cute. Might do one more layer of highlights on this part here. Just I'm gonna get a little bit bigger angle brush here. And use it with, let's see what color I want to use. I need my zoomed back out. There we go, so I can see my flower. So yeah, let's get some burnt orange, a little bit of turquoise, and my cadmium yellow medium, and a little bit of white, just to make it a little bit more opaque. And I'm just going to kind of come back in here and dab in some, little bit of centers, kind of highlights in this area. Honestly, you could be as detailed as you want, but I'm trying to keep it sort of beginner friendly, not getting too fussy with it. So I think this is a little bit easier way of approaching it, so it doesn't have to be. I just didn't like the way it was looking in that pattern, and I don't know, I just think this is a little bit more painterly. I like it though. I think it's pretty cool. Pretty good. Let's get some of the lighter yellow again. Maybe a tiny bit of white with it. I'm gonna use it on the tip of my bee here. And it's got a little bit of the more yellowish yellow or cadmium yellow medium there. I mean, how cute is he? He's just so... Can't stand it. And I love that they're pretty friendly too. Like, you know, we have them a lot. Now, I say that, but there were some that were defending our basil this last summer. We had a bunch of basil that bloomed out. It went bolted and it was everywhere around our tomato plants. And there was one particular area where the bees were. Like, they would dive bomb my head anytime I walked by. I'm like, I'm not after your basil, dude.
But
back off.
They would sit there and just like sleep in the flowers for the watermelon and pumpkin and stuff. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, they loved it. They were happy.
Full body, 2, 3, 4 in each.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Flower.
Yep. They were just loving our garden last year. So we plant lots of flowers along with the fruits and things. So, and Mark has built me new beds. So he's my hero.
In progress.
They are awesome.
Got the first 40 feet done.
I planted poppies and larkspur, so we'll see. I haven't done either one of those yet, so this is my first try at those. I always like to try something new. Last year I did cosmos for the first time. I had a bunch of cosmos. Butterflies love those, so I'll probably do those again. And I always do zinnia, lots of zinnia, because those are just like a sure bet. It doesn't matter if anything else is going to grow, it'll be the zinnias. If nothing else grows, the zinnias will always do okay, seems like. So.
Alex posted a video of starting to plant his sunflowers.
Oh, really? He's already starting to plant them?
Yeah.
Well, he must be
he does it differently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just plowed out a big plot and he was planting sunflower seeds, like bird seed, sunflower seeds.
Oh, wow. Just scatter shot?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it'd be interesting to see how those do.
But it's kind of early. Is he in a warmer area than ours?
No, I mean, he lives here in Little Rock.
Really? Yeah. He's already doing?
Well, we've got sunflowers popping up below the feeder right now.
Okay.
From
we
the
need
seeds.
to throw out some seeds then, too.
Yeah, just to see what happens.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. What do we think?
It looks sweet.
He's sweet.
It's kind of like the bee that was feeding off that, what's that flowering tree we have there, bush? Tulip tree or something?
The magnolia.
Magnolia, yeah. Yeah, he was happy as could be, going from flower to flower.
Oh.
And big pollen sac on his leg.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tis the best.
Eureka.
I found it. I found the spot. All right, adding a little bit of the reddish, just kind of low in the shadows. I love it. He's so cute. All right, I think I'm going to call that good. We'll just leave it simple tonight. Try to keep it easy, right around an hour. I think this is definitely an approachable project. Most people could probably do it, hopefully. Hopefully I went slow enough. You can figure it out. I'm going to get a little bit of white and just tap it in the eye right there. A little highlight. And I'm going to sign it.
So real quick, as everybody knows, you can support us on patreon.com/AngelaFineArt. And there's different levels, $2 levels for traceables, $5 for bonus videos, $10, all of that plus a challenge image. Mm-hmm. And you started April? No, not yet.
I'll start
this Wednesday.
This Thursday. Yeah,
so anyways,
Thursday.
When you subscribe to each level, you get all the previous things from at that level, so back 5 years or so. Yeah,
all the previous videos that we've done. We do, for the $5 level, we do a bonus video once a month. It's a once a month painting on a Sunday, and it's usually like a 4 or 5 hour project. And then for the $10 level, though, we do a project all month long. So I work on Thursdays with them, and we finish that off in, within the month usually. Sometimes we go 2 months if it's a particularly challenging project. We call it the challenge image because it's usually something that's
Challenging.
a little bit more challenging. Yeah, a little bit more. I don't have mine handy here. I'd show you what we did last month, but we did some bunnies and hydrangeas last month. So this month we're going to be working on a really large project on a large canvas, and we're going to be doing pets. So we're going to be doing like really funky colors though. So I think it'll be a really fun project. It's the first time I've ever done it, so it'll be kind of a learning experience for me. I always like to pick something for my challenge videos that are a challenge for me, not just everybody else. So there's our bunnies and hydrangea that we did last month. We added some butterflies and a little blue bird at the very end. And I always kind of let, it's very interactive, so I kind of let we figure out the composition as we go and change things up and let them pick my group pick, the birds and different things. And so I think we have a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. So I think I'm really looking forward to working on the larger canvas and doing some pets this month. And I'm gonna encourage people to paint their own pet. I'm painting Fitzpickle, of course, and we're gonna do them in really bright, funky, fun colors. So that'll be starting this Thursday.
You ready for some questions?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna just kind of glazing in here some darker colors here as you do that.
Okay, the first question is, what if they use a canvas that was already painted yellow first?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you could do that totally. Just put in your darker colors like I did. So, put in the dark green and this color that I'm using now, the burnt orange and greenish colors over the top of your yellow, and then you'll have to do probably a little bit of white highlighting on top of your yellow, depending on the tone of your yellow canvas, to get some highlights into it, and probably go back over it, but you'll probably have fewer layers than I had to do since you'll already be starting with yellow. So yeah, no, you could totally use that.
Okay, next question. During your 10 years on YouTube, what have you learned as a YouTube artist?
Ooh, okay. So as a YouTube artist, I've learned that that I need to do the things that I enjoy doing, not do the things that I think that YouTube wants me to do, or that I try to figure out what my audience wants. I try to be interactive with my audience, and we do the live streams and things. I also learned that I hate editing with a passion, like the passion of 1,000 suns hate editing. So
that's why we stream live.
That's why we stream live. Yeah. So I literally was losing hair when I was doing my videos recorded and put up uploaded instead of doing them live, so which is kind of funny. Most people would find it more I think maybe more nerve-wracking to do things live, but I find it more relaxing for some reason because I'm weird. So but mainly I've been in this trying to do it. When I first started YouTube, I was teaching and doing gallery work and had a lot of other projects going on. This was like a side project, and it became popular enough that I felt like it was viable to switch my career, path and focus solely on YouTube. So I kind of slowly took me about a year to get out of other projects and switch over to just doing YouTube. And so my whole goal has just been sustainability, because I don't want to burn out. I've burned out before. I've been painting for 30 years. I know what that's like. And so I've really set up my YouTube business, my Patreon, and other, things that I've got going on in order to sustain this long term, because I don't want to do projects that I know are going to wear me out. So I try to always pick paintings that I'm passionate about. Kind of what you see is what you get. I don't try to be somebody that I'm not when I'm painting. Sometimes that can be hard because when I get negative stuff, then they're really they're criticizing me as a person because it's the real deal. We're not being fake or trying to be somebody we're not. But other than that, it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience being on YouTube. I've met so many people from all over the world. It's been awesome. So that was a long answer to that question. But yeah, that's kind of the main things. I've just kind of learned to sort of do what I'm paint what I'm passionate about, stick to those things, and then let the rest, fall where it may, and hope for the best. We've kind of...
and also how to fake it.
How to fake it? What do you mean?
Well, sometimes you're not too sure about where it's going sometimes, and then you follow your own advice, which is just trust the process,
right?
And work through it.
No, that's not faking it. That's
okay,
just
well.
just working through it. Working through.
Okay, maybe I fake it over here.
All right, I'm going to glaze right in here. So I'm going to use this burnt orange and some glazing medium in water, just transparent layer, and glaze this back.
Our next question is,
okay.
Do you use matte medium on all your paintings?
No, I don't use matte medium at all, really. I use glazing medium usually, and for this very reason, just to... The glazing medium is because acrylics, heavy body acrylics that I'm using don't have a lot of binder in them. They're more pigmented than other acrylics, and so you have to have that binder, and that's just adding binder back in to when I'm wetting down and thinning out my paints, because I want a thin layer of color. And I'm not trying to, with glazing, I'm not trying to cover up anything. I'm just trying to change the tone, maybe darken it a little bit, but just add a little bit of that orangey tone back in on top of my highlights. You can still see all the detail through it. It's just a thin glaze of color, and that glazing medium helps with that. Matte medium would work fairly similar. Matte medium has got a mattifier, though. It's got like a little bit of white pigments in it, white particles, that dull the light. So I don't tend to like to use it because it can dull your colors. I like to use the glosser or satin glazing liquid, because that's glosses and satins are going to bring out the shine and also bring out your color. Matte is going to dull the shine, but it also kind of dulls your colors too to some degree. Not a ton, but it can. So.
Okay. Then we had a couple cool comments here at the end of the beginning that I just wanted to share. So Alicia says, "Thank you for painting tutorials.
Oh.
Me and my mom love doing them together."
Oh, yay.
That is sweet.
I'm so glad.
Great.
That's what it's all about. That's right there.
Families doing stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
And then, there we go. Bring it.
What? Super chat? Woohoo! I like it.
I forgot to turn off my mic.
It's all right. It wasn't too bad for me, but I don't know about them.
Super chat here.
Yay. Basement Creations. Pair character jumping up and down saying, "#1 fan." Like it. Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you.
I love those too. The descriptions of the emojis for the win. It's awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and we're gonna
subscribe.
Yeah, like, subscribe, share. Even if you don't actually share it, I heard that even just clicking on the share button triggers the algorithm, lets them know that you like our content. So do that. Just click on that little share, that little 3 triangle with the dots on it thing. I don't know what it's like. It's like a triangle sort of with 3 dots. I don't know. Anyhow, you know what I'm talking about.
I have an arrow on my iPad. So
you have an arrow for the share on your iPad? Okay. So do that. Share it or don't, but at least click on that. and click on the like, and that will really help our channel. Lets the algorithm know that you like our content and that other people might like it too. Even, it really does help. It's a small thing that you can do to really kind of help our channel out and let other people get to see what we do as well. So we appreciate you guys. And
check out on the socials. You just did an Instagram live.
Yeah, I just did an Instagram live about brushes. So if you've been wondering about what kind of brushes to buy or what kind of are my favorite brushes, we kind of demonstrated a few different brushes, showed you how to wash them and stuff like that. Just kind of basically did a little kind of quick hour-long demonstration of different things that you might want to know about brushes. Who knows? Maybe you'll learn something. It was fun. I enjoyed it. So yeah, check that out. The Instagram link is down in the description if you want to.
Twitter.
And yeah, we're on TikTok now too. Woohoo! We're finally had to hire somebody to do it.
And there's nobody named Paige.
What?
So there's nobody named Paige. When I talked to you last night, I said, "Who's Paige?" When they say hashtag for you page.
Oh, for you page. Yes. It was for you page, PAGE.
For you
Mark's
TikTokers,
like, whose page?
You know.
And yeah, I'm like, honey, that's the page is for you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
anyways.
it's not a person. All right. And on that note, we're going to go. We're out. Thanks guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.